All right. Well, it's 4:24, September 17th, and I'm going to call to order the Board of Assessors meeting. And the first agenda item is I'm going to read the governor's order, which and suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law relating to the 2020 novel coronavirus outbreak emergency of August 20th, 2020 public meeting of the Board of Assessors. I'm sorry, September 17th. Public meeting of the Board of Assessors shall be physically closed to the public to avoid group congregation. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to be viewed at a later date. So, moving on to agenda item number 2, we have some meeting minutes that I believe they need to be approved, and then we need to stop by the office to sign them. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the August 20th meeting, if anyone cares to do so.
A motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 20th.
Do we have a second, Mr. Pink?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? We have to do the roll call. So Oliveri, aye.
Pink, aye.
Medford, aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. On to the next agenda item, which is some invoices that need to be signed. So this is just a reminder when you're in the area, and I know that lockbox that we had discussed I believe it has been installed, and they're just I think they're working on coordinating keys or whatever the case may be. So that should be all set. So you don't necessarily have to find time during business hours to get there. But in the meantime, if you do have some time, just stop by and make sure we get invoices and reports signed. Having said that, agenda item number 4, I'm going to turn it over to Harald to give us RRG's report.
Yeah, so my report will be fairly brief. This is the time of the year when we're looking to wrap up all of our work in pulling together our new growth revenue estimates and implementing interim revaluation numbers. Last meeting, we went over the assessment to sale ratios and gave you an indication of where our fiscal year 2021 values might travel. I can't ratchet our values, that is update our land and building tables until we anchor new growth. And I can't anchor new growth until RRC completes their work on personal property. I reached out to RRC again today. I'd understood that we would have their personal property workups, 2 weeks ago. Still hasn't arrived. I'm guessing that COVID has set them back a bit, but I did get a response from Brian Pelletier, the principal of RRC, and he committed to getting the new growth work, that is the personal property work, done and to us by next Friday, a week from tomorrow. With that, then we'll be able to document our new growth revenue numbers, anchor all of that, and that will then allow me to go into the system and build out the new land and building tables, test those tables, and come back to you with an indication of the improvements in assessed valuations. As you recall, there aren't any dramatic changes that we're going to be making, but some changes for sure. In the meantime, little projects here and there. We got the smart growth report to the Department of Revenue today. Lakeville is one of 2 communities in Massachusetts that signed up for the smart growth development program, probably 7 or 8 years ago. in exchange for building affordable housing under that program, the Commonwealth sends the town an impact check, if you will. I did hear back from DOR after submitting my report that that program has not yet been funded, almost calling into question whether the Commonwealth will even continue to fund that smart growth distribution. So little day-to-day issues that I deal with here and there really make up the bulk of what's been going on. Everything just hinges at this point in getting that personal property in, so I can start marching forward with wrapping up all of our valuations and getting ready for classification hearing. We haven't set a classification hearing date yet. I'm hoping that can happen sometime around mid to late October. I'd like to see us get our tax rates set early this year. Just get that off our plate and go into Thanksgiving with our work basically accomplished and getting braced and ready for the coming year.
Okay, anything else on the report, or are you good?
I am good.
All right, agenda item number 5. We have some motor vehicle excise tax abatement reports that need to be signed off on, along with, nope, I guess that's it. So just make sure you stop by the office when you get a chance to sign off on those. We have the update on the marijuana facility assessments. Do you want to update on that, Harald, or is that tied in with the RRC?
Well, it's in part tied up with RRC, but there is a question of another class of property that's normally associated with real estate that I've actually been doing some investigation into. There are often in these types of facilities what we call leasehold improvements. These might include in a marijuana facility special air handling equipment, temperature control equipment, watering, special piping and waste removal infrastructure. And I understand that there's a substantial investment in these sorts of leasehold improvements that can be captured. I've called around to communities, including Taunton, my colleagues up in Fitchburg, and some other towns, and nobody apparently has thought to pick up these leasehold improvements. Some question as to whether that's prudent. I'd like to suggest that it is, and that I'd like to see our real estate counts for these facilities include an allowance for the special infrastructure that's built into the dwellings to make the growing of marijuana possible. I had reached out 2 weeks ago to Nate, wasn't able to track him down today to get a sense for some numbers that might have been reported to him in terms of the investment that they've made in this infrastructure. Purportedly, some of these grow facilities will invest upwards of $5 to $10 million in special infrastructure. And so I'd like to get a handle on that before I finalize values and see if we can't capture some additional revenue over and above the personal property that will be reported to us by RRC next week.
So, Harald, if you don't mind my interrupting here. Unless I misunderstood, it sounds like some of the other communities who also have these facilities either running and operating now or going up, they're not capturing the...
I don't think they even thought about it, honestly. I think they've thought really in terms of just a plain vanilla building with some personal property or equipment that's brought in, nothing in the way of special infrastructure. I guess what raised the question for me is looking at some of the permits, sometimes in excess of $10–15 million of investments. When you drill down, you find out that a lot of it relates to these leasehold improvements.
So I guess my next question is, if they're not showing up on a report to RRC, I guess, do we have a way to capture this? I mean, first of all, I'm concerned that, not that I want to tax somebody that shouldn't be taxed to begin with, but if there's property in our basis of taxing, residents or businesses in town is property based, we should capture it. But is there a loophole in the system possibly where, forget about marijuana facilities, anyone who does leasehold improvements, they're not showing up under the building value or under the personal property worksheet that's sent out by the town because they're not looking at it as personal property?
So Mass property tax law doesn't address leasehold improvements per se. It really comes down to assessment practice. And so if I were to take an equivalent like a pharmaceutical entity, I'll pick on one that I'm very familiar with, Bristol Myers Squibb up at Devon's. Those buildings, absent that pharma happening, would be basically bricks and mortar, 4 walls and a roof and a floor. The value that I capture in those facilities is all of the incredible infrastructure that they put in place to make their pharmaceutical enterprise happen. Without that infrastructure, there would be that infrastructure built into the real estate, there would be no pharma happening. And I think it's kind of, I could draw the same equivalent here.
So how do you capture that in that community, I guess, is my question. I just want to make sure we're not missing something.
Yeah, so early on, I mean, that facility's been around now for about 8 to 10 years. There was a reach out to the company through the tax firm that represents them, looking for that information. I have to say they were very reluctant to furnish me with the information I was looking for, and in fact ended up flying out a tax agent from Chicago to meet with me about that and come to terms. And at the end of the day, we found a reasonable compromise that allowed for the taxation of those special improvements.
Okay, so we're not expecting those to show up in the RRC numbers. I mean, we've seen what's been reported back to us. So at this point, we're at the, I guess we're at a juncture in the road where it's the onus is on us to reach out to the business owners and have a conversation. Do we talk? I guess we talk to the actual business as opposed to the landlord. I mean, I know sometimes they're one and the same, although they're separate, set up under different entities. But I think I know we're gonna be asked, from the selectmen, I'm sure, what's going on with that. So I think we should probably put a little more.
Sure, getting that information is going to be difficult. I understand from Nate that he's had, even in his realm, some challenges in getting information he's needed. That being said, the companies came to Lakeville touting a sizable investment that they were making, and it'd be, I think, interesting to look at some of those figures, even a building permit fee, which would be based on the investment that they're making in the real estate. That should serve as, or give us some guidance on how to value that infrastructure. Probably equate it to a per square foot value.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're going to need to make some extra efforts on
Yes.
getting to the right number on this one. So we'll push this to the top of our agenda of things to work on. Okay, does that take care of the marijuana facility assessments update?
Yes.
And you did already touch base on the tax rate setting calendar. We hopefully should be able to set that date over the next few weeks. Any old business to come before the committee? Any new business?
None on my
Any
end.
new business? Any new business to come before the committee? Jesse, John, you guys good?
Good.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, I'll go with I made the motion. John seconded. All in favor? John Pink.
Aye.
Jesse Medford.
Aye.
John Oliveri. Aye. I'm trying to make this easy on us, John Pink. So, all right. Motion to adjourn has been voted on unanimously, and we are good to go. So, thank you.